3, 4, 5. We got 5 butt buddies dead right here. What you got growing on the side of your head? Reapers, what's is good? It's your boy Laser. He's always looking another scary reaction video. He's on the scary content. So can you do the figures right now? Top 5 scariest archaeological discoveries. Guys, they show me like creepy ass skulls buried underneath like sand and shit. We're not trying to enjoy scary content. These more scary reviews features. Hit the like button. You subscribe to the notification bell icon. I also stream every night on Twitch. Go check out the stream. It's fucking amazing. Let's dive straight in this video.
The top 5 scariest archaeological discoveries. Roll the clip.
All these workers.
For the curious amongst you, that clip was from, of course, the legendary 1973 horror masterpiece, The Exorcist, because we all know that sooner or later, if you go digging around in the dirt, you're gonna discover some kind of relic of the demonic Pazuzu, right? Yeah. Kicking off at number 5, the Phaleron Delta necropolis. Now, Greece, of course, is the land of one of this planet's longest standing ancient civilizations, and dig sites are a dime a dozen across both the rural and metropolitan areas of the country, slowly uncovering the mysteries of a long-lost Greek society. While in early 2016, researchers discovered one terrifyingly unique manner of burial and mass execution. Apparently because, well, they're not entirely sure. Found in a large ancient cemetery in part of the Phaleron Delta necropolis in Athens were at least
Skeleton bones. Shiver me timbers.
80 skeletons in a line stacked on top of each other with their wrists clamped together in a chain of iron shackles. The strangest thing was, though, that all of these men were incredibly young and in a very...
There's just something eerie about like skeletons, bro. Something eerie about skeleton bones.
very good state of health, indicating that they weren't slaves or common criminals, and the orderly, uniform way that they were buried seemed to support this. Whatever happened was an incredibly violent act, with their hands bound above their heads before being uniformly executed. The whole thing doesn't really make...
Can I nut in their skull? Is that normal?
Any sense at all, but the leading theory is that all of these young men were part of an attempted coup during a period of great unrest for Athenian society. The coup failed, of course, but the fact that these men were all buried in a respectful manner despite the violent circumstances that they were executed in leaves far more perplexing questions than it does answers. Swinging in at number 4, the Persian siege. Now, in the ancient world, sieges and bloody battles were the only real way to get things done, but during an age where the most cutting-edge technology was a composite ballista, it was pretty shocking when archaeologists discovered some startling evidence of chemical warfare. In 256 AD, well, turns out that over 2,000 years ago, 19 Roman soldiers rushed into a cramped underground tunnel as they prepared to defend the Roman-held Syrian city of Dura Europa.
What the fuck do these fuckers... These fuckers have like a doorstep as their goddamn protection. Look at this. You can't make this up. Look at that dragon. Ooh, shiver me timbers.
From an army of Persian soldiers digging beneath the city's mud brick walls. Instead of meeting a horde of Persian besiegers, though, they were met by one soldier, and then a wall of noxious black smoke turned their lungs into acid. They all died in excruciating pain, sealed for eternity beneath the earth. But flash forward to the 1920s, though, and French archaeologist Robert Dumensil began excavating the Roman site that backed up against
that skull. Let me nut inside it.
the Euphrates River. That's when he found the piled up skeletal remains of the 19 Roman soldiers and one lone Persian at the other end of the tunnel. Initially, he thought that the Persian soldier had somehow managed to defeat 19 highly trained legionnaires in close quarters combat, but that's when he noticed crystals of sulfur and bitumen scattered across the tunnel walls. Turned out the Persian force had developed an experimental tar-like petrochemical that burnt fast and hot and killed with deadly efficiency.
Look at all this sand. Oh, let me nut in that hole. Can I fap in there? This is beautiful. The fact that, like, you know, you saw those workers, like, working their ass off with the pickaxes earlier. It's crazy to think that fucking, goddamn, the Egyptians. I hate you, Egyptians. I'm a Jew, by the way. They made us work our asses off. They made my ancestors work their asses off back in the day.
Also turns out that chemical warfare was much more common than we expected in the ancient world. What a way to go, eh? Next up at number 3, the mystery of 𝐒𝐚𝐥. And this one is pretty damn terrifying, really. Sometime in 5300 BC, which is a long Long time ago, what is known as a linear pottery culture developed in the southwest region of 𝐼𝐭'𝐬 in Germany, one that for all intents and purposes could be described as an idyllic, peaceful Stone Age settlement. Safe from invaders and predators, the village thrived with its rudimentary agriculture and societal development. That is until sometime around 4950 BC, when the settlement in 𝐼𝐭'𝐬...
Look at those teeth. Oh, missing teeth. Hold on, let me make... Look at my crooked teeth.
abruptly and without warning disappeared. But they didn't exactly disappear, instead they were ritualistically butchered, smashed to pieces and buried beneath the same dirt that they once called home. Turns out in 2009 an archaeological dig site unearthed human remains of over 1,000 ancient villagers. The bones were of men, women, children, even infants and fetuses. Stranger still though, tool markings on all of the bones showed that the flesh had been carefully scraped off, while large bones had been broken, possibly to get at the marrow inside. Hell, even the skulls were cracked open in an effort to extract their brains. Whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing and were incredibly proficient at butchering the human anatomy, presumably to eat, as there was no sign of the removed flesh in the surrounding area. Again,
look at those skulls. 3, 4, 5. We got 5 butt buddies dead right here. What you got growing on the side of your head? What is that? Is that big ass meatball growing on the side of your head?
It gets weirder though, because after extracting DNA from their remains, it turned out that these people came from all over Europe in roughly a 500-mile radius. In fact, the leading theory is that all of these people volunteered to come to 𝐼𝐭'𝐬 on their own free will to be ritualistically sacrificed and then seemingly eaten. Yeah. Coming in at number 2, the Tomb of the Sunken Skulls. Talking of ritualistic burial sites, there's an even older one, and it's even weirder. Actually, sometime in 2009, archaeologists found what they believed to be a Stone Age settlement near what was once a shallow lake in Motala, a town in southwest Sweden. The routine dig took a strange turn though when researchers discovered the skulls and skull fragments from 11 individuals, including men, women, children and infants. In fact, the site, which would later be known as 𝐵𝐺𝐺𝐺, turned out to be nearly 8,000 years old. But we also have to remember that 𝐵𝐺𝐺𝐺 was a lake and the remains were found stacked inside a large stone mass grave with a giant heavy lid built on the bottom of a body of water. Hey, it gets weirder though guys, because 2 of the human skulls found were pierced with wooden stakes, with the majority of the others showing signs of also being penetrated by sharp objects. It seemed to point toward using their heads as some sort of bizarre trophy or totem, but also it poses the question, why would you then bury them underneath a lake in a stone tomb with...
Maybe they drowned?
Children. But hey, again it gets even weirder, because one of the female skulls found there was actually filled with fragments of bone from all of the other skulls in the tomb, like some weird kind of horrifying potpourri. The leading theory is that 𝐵𝐺𝐺𝐺 likely served as a sacred meeting spot for several nomadic bands of Mesolithic Swedes roaming the forest and shores of Sweden over 8,000 years ago. For some reason though, they felt compelled to bury people's heads in a stone tomb at the bottom of a lake, and no one really knows why. My best guess though, vampires or aliens, alien vampires. And finally, coming
Let me suck the blood.
in our number 1 spot, the 𝐾𝐠 mummies. If you know anything about bog bodies, you'll know that they're already terrifying enough. The British Isles are relatively unique in the sense that they're littered with geographical peat bogs, a unique high acid, low oxygen environment which inhibits specific bacteria that break down organics. Because of that, they're also perfect for preserving bodies, and history has shown numerous instances of discovering ancient bodies hidden away in the deep peat bogs of Scotland, Ireland, England and Wales. Well, usually they're just incredibly well preserved, mummified perfectly for archaeological purposes, but back in early 2012 scientists discovered 2 3,000-year-old Scottish bog bodies, remnants of the 11th century ancestral houses of 𝐾𝐠, a prehistoric village on the Isle of South Uist. But hold on, because if that timeline isn't already peculiar enough, it gets weirder. Because first and foremost, researchers discovered that these 2 corpses had been buried between 300 and 600 years after their death.
Look at these skeletons. Ooh. Be ashamed if I think there's something so eerie about skeletons that are like red, bro. Very eerie. Like, so eerie to the point where, like, I could feel my veins start to shake.
Hold on though, because it does get weirder, because these corpses quickly had scientists scratching their heads because their bones just didn't match up, although they showed clear signs of being articulated as one whole cadaver. Turned out after DNA testing each of their limbs, they were from completely separate people, all of which had died at different points in ancient history. It's what's called a composite mummy, and no one has any idea what the hell it was or still is, but for some reason an ancient society was collecting body parts and sticking them all together in some horrifying Frankensteinian manner. Yeah, let that one sink in, just like a peat bog.
That was just my shit, guys. Y'all heard that? That was just my shit after having too much to talk about.
Body. Well, that one was pretty horrifying, right guys? Yeah, I think you need to have a little bit of a lie down. Why don't you let us know your thoughts as well as any...
Well guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Which one of those archaeological studies or discoveries was the most interesting to you? If you're scared content, these are scary views, features that you do. I'll see you next one. Peace!